Welcome back to the 51st International Eucharistic Congress, Cebu, Philippines. And this is Eucharist, the Face of Mercy. I am Bernard Factor Canyaberal saying to all of you, Mabuhay!
And good day to all of you once again. I'm Angelique Lazo Mayuga.
And this is Father Joel Kamaya.
And so once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have to have this wrap up because many things happened this morning. And immediately after the morning prayer,
Yes.
we had the catechesis of Cardinal Onayekan, which gave a profound statement about the poor and the suffering.
And of course the scenario
Yes.
in Africa.
In Africa.
Yes.
It looks to me that he's stressing on the point that the presence of God is with everybody and even with the poor. I recall, Father Joel, that there's a line or a verse in the scriptures that would say, the poor will always be with us.
Yeah, that is. Those are lines from Jesus himself, and there are two passages. But his point was somebody who would like to give to the poor, but the priority is still something for him, the perfume that was spent for him. And yet those words of the Lord are true, that they will always be with us.
Yes.
In fact, even prophetic, even until our times, we have the poor with us.
We will have the poor with us.
Yes.
And also, the Cardinal made mention of some people who have all the material blessings, but they're not happy.
And because they are poor in spirit or poor, lacking in the presence of God. So he reminded us that the Eucharist is for all, especially the people who are poor. And despite all the bad news, terrorism, there's fear of another world war, climate change, what's going to happen to our planet in the future, we must still be grateful for the Eucharist.
Yes, and that was a good statement because we also, as a country, is suffering from all these tragedies because of the climate change. We could feel for him. And then we have also the testimony by Georgia Cogtas. This is another moving sharing, Father Joel, his experience in the beginning. She was in the streets, a street child, looking for food and everything. But then she was changed by the Eucharist, by touched by God, if I may say so.
And now her life is dedicated to helping children who were like her, who have been living in the streets and have had nowhere to go. And of course, she could not help but shed tears about her experience. And the good news is she's been rescued by God. And because of her, she is rescuing other children
As
like
well,
her.
who are also like her in the beginning of her life. And then there was this sharing also, catechesis of Archbishop Dominic Hala from the Archdiocese of Shillong, India, but that was represented here by Cardinal Gracias as a representative.
Yes, earlier, just want to make mention, this picture
Oh, yes,
was
yes.
done for Cardinal Onayekan because it's his birthday. So they made a caricature of him, and he was so surprised and so
And the whole
pleased.
congregation sang happy birthday song for him. Yes. That was beautiful. That was also
This is
moving.
Archbishop Jala.
Yes. Right. So
He comes from that region in India.
In
what we
Shillong.
call Shillong, northeast India, which is very diverse in terms of the tribes that are there. Very different from the other parts of India. If we think about India, we always see Bombay or Delhi, Kerala.
And we see Hinduism as the prevalent religion in the greater part of
Yes,
India,
the
right?
greater part of India. But in their particular
Area.
region, the special thing is that they're made up of these tribes. And look, his features do not resemble a typical Indian.
Ah, that's right.
yes, because we were interviewing also the bishop from Cape Town, and he was also telling about different tribes and different people in Africa.
And
of
how
that.
how they have to adapt
Diverse cultures,
Yes, their culture to their religion. No, how there's some traditional religions that have picked up from the Old Testament and a little from the New Testament, and this is what's around them, and this is how they try to express their Christianity, their Catholicism in this kind of milieu.
Yes, and connect with each other as well. And then we also have this General Assembly of the World Federation of the Eucharistic Works of the Church at the San Carlos Seminary Auditorium IEC Village Complex right here.
This was at 9
Yes.
to 10 this morning.
So there are simultaneous activities going on, and
I want to ask Father Joel if he's familiar with the Eucharistic Works of the Church. What kind of, is this an organization or is this a movement within the church, Father?
I'm not so familiar with this, but what I understand is that it involves a lot of these leaders of the church.
all right.
And what we are doing right now, the International Eucharistic Congress, their their works are very much like this, not to bring about that not only that mentality of celebrating the Eucharist, but what it does, the social aspect of it.
So this is more on on the personal aspect as well of the
Personal and practical.
practical.
aspect.
Yes, because I think it's been mentioned a few times that we are familiar. I think one of the objectives of this Congress is for us to be more familiar with what the
Yeah.
Eucharist is. So, on the intellectual level, we're okay there. And then inviting people to attend masses or the Holy Eucharist, the holy sacrifice of the Mass, we're also there. But the third aspect, which is doing the mission. After you leave the church, what happens next?
Yes.
Now, how do we bring Christ to others? How are we living our faith? I think that's where we're a bit lacking.
That is what is unique in this particular Congress, because it focuses not only on the celebration of the Eucharist, but Eucharist as mission.
Yes.
Where does it lead us to? And in fact, we see therefore the Eucharist as it's a source of what we do, and at the same time it's the
summit
end,
as
the
well.
summit
Yes.
of where we would all lead to.
Where are we going after
Our
this?
where we go.
destination. Yes.
Now, also,
another,
yes,
video
interesting.
clip.
This is very interesting.
This was done yesterday,
Yes.
actually. It's one of the things that also welcomed
The Cardinal from
Bo.
Myanmar, yes.
Yes, the papal legate. Yes, who's the special envoy of Pope Francis to this Eucharistic Congress. And what happened yesterday at this get-together?
They were dancing the Sinulog yesterday with Cardinal Bo, and look at that.
You know where
These
this
are the
is?
children.
This is at?
This
This
at
is
your
in Don
place,
Bosco,
yes?
Pasil,
In Pasil, yes.
which is
Tell
a youth
us-
center.
Yes, tell us
Right.
about the Pasil.
Yeah, Pasil is a district in Cebu where you find a lot of poor people. It's like if we could compare it to Manila, we have Tondo.
All right.
This is the Tondo of Cebu City.
So it's a depressed area.
It's a depressed area. It's near the sea,
Uh-huh.
and
The-
yet it's so vibrant as a community.
The girl gave the Santo Niño to the Cardinal, and there he is
The
right
Cardinal
now
also
dancing.
dances.
Why? Okay,
It's a
I want to
tradition,
find
yeah.
out. And maybe our televiewers from other parts of the world are wondering, why are they dancing with the image of the Santo Niño?
I'm not a Cebuano, no, but whenever I see this sinulog, they dance with it. My somebody told me, no, that this is a way of presenting the child, no, to really worship the child Jesus, and together with that worship, are not only words, but even the whole body.
And of course, as we know, children are very playful.
Yeah.
And the Santo Niño is also playful.
Yes,
So-
and I also would like to make mention that we are being carried live on
Oh,
different
okay.
channels all over the country and all over the world as well.
So let's take a look at the places where we are available. We have prepared a graphic for you for that. Of course, we have live
The Destiny
by TV Maria.
at 96 analog and 160 on digital, Sky Cable 160 digital, and IEC is seen also on Signal digital TV channel. For HD, it's 199, and SD is 99.
And for live streaming, you can go to iec2016.ph.
And
Right, so-
on radio, we're heard live also over Radio Veritas,
846.
Catholic Media Network, And the Aeropagus group is also doing on the internet and the websites.
Okay, so we'll be right back. Please don't go away. And we have another special guest who will join us on the set in just a while. Yes, welcome back to the Eucharist, the Face of Mercy, and you're still with
Bernard Factor Canyabral.
And
Miss
Angelique
Angelique
Lazo
and
Mayuga.
Father
Father
Joel.
Joel Kamaya.
Yes.
Okay, now joining us on the set is a special guest who's flown in all the way from Rome. It's his first time in the Philippines. He wears several hats, but today we're going to concentrate on one particular hat. This is as the International Director of the Eucharistic Youth Movement. Very fitting because this is a Eucharistic
Yes.
Congress. So let's find out exactly what are they doing for the youth so that they can fall in love with
Yes.
Christ in the form of the Eucharist. We have with us
To be
Han.
honest, Angelique,
Yes.
this is my first time to have heard of the Eucharistic Youth Movement.
Yes.
Perhaps it wasn't my time. It wasn't in my time.
But I think it's been around for
It's been
for a
around,
while.
yes.
So now joining us is Father Frederick Fornos. He is from the Society of Jesus.
Yes.
Good day to you, Father Fornos, and welcome to our program.
Hello,
Right.
thank you.
So, for those who are not in the know, like me, how would you introduce, especially to many of our young people here in the Philippines, this Eucharistic Youth Movement?
I will try with my poor English. Then the Eucharistic Youth Movement is a second movement for youth in the Catholic Church. It's present in 56 countries in the world. More than 1,100,000 youth in different realities, different cultures in the world. It's present in schools, but in many parishes. The most is in parishes because the Eucharist. Because this movement is to help the youth in a strong and deep relationship with Jesus, in a friendship with Jesus, to be transformed by the Eucharist for being at the service of the mission of Christ. Then the Eucharist is a place, the moment most important for them, for us, for be transformed and have the capacity of love of Jesus, for being sending by Him, with Him, at the service of the mission of the church. That's why it's in other words, it's live the Eucharist for that our lives be a Eucharist.
So, would you say it's in the parishes, in the schools, in the communities, this group of young people with a particular name tag at that?
Yes, it's a movement of youth. However, it's linked to the Pope's worldwide prayer network, known also with the name Apostolship of Prayer.
All right.
It's for adults, after 25 years old.
Ah.
And Eucharistic Youth Movement is the youth branch.
So there's no dichotomy. It's just the age is the only thing that separates them. But it's
Yes.
the same goals.
Yes. Even if we have a pedagogy's difference, we have, of course, different ways for the youth, but it's always Jesus, Eucharist, mission.
Okay. Yes. If I will be interested, for example, as a young person or a youth here in Cebu, where do I go? Will I approach the parish, the church, or the pastor, and would present and would look for this group of EYM?
I think the most easy is to go to Facebook,
Facebook.
because in Facebook you can find all the EYM in the world
All right.
and the EYM page of Philippines, because it
Oh,
started
okay.
in Philippines 5 years ago.
Okay. So relatively new
Yes.
here in the country.
And that's a good place to
Yes.
to find
Yes.
people, right? And to, well, recruit or to invite people to join. I don't like that word actually because it's been used in a very negative way
In Philippines,
lately.
in Philippines starts 5 years ago.
All right.
However, we have just celebrated the centenary with Pope Francis in
All right.
August in Rome. In an
Centenary.
audience.
That's
Yes.
quite old. Okay.
Yeah, and how widespread is this movement around the world? Which countries? And
Largely in Europe or Asia.
It's in all continents.
Mhm.
It's very dynamic in Africa, South America, but we are also present in Europe, in Asia. For example, in Asia, it's strong in Vietnam,
Okay.
in in India. But we are also present in Taiwan, a very beautiful and dynamic movement. In Indonesia,
Yes.
here also.
Is that you in the picture with the Pope? A while
Earlier I
ago, yeah.
saw
Earlier it was,
Father Fornes
yes.
with the
But where
Pope.
it was,
Yeah.
These are young people from where?
I think the photo was in Brazil.
in
Okay.
Brazil.
That is,
it's in Canada. This is
Canada.
in Canada.
Yes, Canada.
There
That's
you are.
just-
That's
picture
you.
with
That's
Pope
just Pope
Francis.
2 years
Francis.
ago, when the last director presented me to Pope
Yes.
Francis,
Wonderful.
like the new international director.
Although you yourself are based in the Vatican, right?
Yeah, I'm working in the Vatican. However, I'm living in the generalish Curia of the Jesuits.
Okay, yes.
And because the the Apostleship of Prayer, the Pope's Worldwide Prayer Network, and also the EYM is a mission entrusted to the Society of Jesus.
Okay.
It's not a Jesuit mission.
It is not a Jesuit
No.
mission, but
No, it's a mission of the Church entrusted
entrusted to the
the
to the
Jesuits.
Jesuits.
So would all the Jesuit school be connected somehow into
That
the
would be
EYM?
a-
No, but a lot. But not only. In a lot of places we have a lot of other congregations.
Even
Yes.
outside Jesuit schools.
Yes.
Okay,
All
it
right.
says here that the EYM seeks to form the youth to know, love, adore, serve, and proclaim. At the beginning, when you say to know, that means more catechism, more education.
Yes.
So you teach.
Through the experience. The experience is very important, even for the sacraments, for the prayer, for that the most important is to start with the experience, and also for that in the UAM, the art and the music are very important because it's a way for youth people to know better Jesus, to be together, to make a fraternity together at the service of the mission.
But there are youth or young people who are broken, and sometimes just to tell them about this movement, they sometimes cringe and wouldn't want to join. There are situations like that somehow, Father Joel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe it's more of them not knowing what it really is.
What's
that,
in store?
Yeah, what's in store for them. That they would look at it from outside and they would not really appreciate it. Maybe the stigma of words that somehow do not connect with
like
them.
big words,
Big
right?
words. Big
Yes.
But it's nice that you have an acronym, EYM. It's like
Yes.
it's very now. It's
Yes.
very
So
attractive.
how do you attend to this feeling of young people who are broken and are hesitant to join? You have any program also for them?
It depends of each national office
All right.
for the ecclesial context, cultural context, to find ways for that.
All right.
But it's sure that, for example, I was talking about the music.
Yes.
The music is a way that a lot of youth and broken youth can desire to share with the others, and then to have as project to make music together, to Christian music, to share that. It helps a youth in difficulty to participate, and also because the experience is a trained experience in catechism and intelligence of the faith, spiritual way, biblical. Then it helps also a lot to have youth with a capacity of discernment in their lives, and to help them to have good choice to help them to be led by the Spirit of God. Yes, it helps a lot of youth in this training.
I'd like to ask, we've also been talking about in this Congress how the poor should always be included. How are the youth who belong to the marginalized sector of society, how are they able to join this movement and make them feel that they are part of this, that the Eucharist is also for them?
Yes, exactly. That the EYM, because it's in the parishes, because it's open to all youth, we don't have any way of elitism. we open to all youth and youth in difficulties with difficult problems. It's a fraternity of faith. Then we have a lot of EYM groups with in all cities, in all peripheric cities. It's very I don't know the name how can we say that in English, but it's popular, no, che è molto popolare per le giovani di tutti, no? Unicamente la città.
It's popular among the young people. Yes.
Yes. People with difficulties, no?
Yes.
Youth with difficulties, because it's a family, an international family. Also, when today with all the social medias, they can talk with youth and friends from Africa, from South America, North America, Europe, all parts in Asia, and that for youth through Facebook, Twitter, or others, WhatsApp or others, could help a lot to be part of this big family and not alone, even with my difficulties.
Just maybe another question. What is expected of these young people who are part of the EYM? What do you expect of them to do? Since in a way they are apostles among the other youth.
Yes, because it's to help this youth through Eucharist to be at the service of the mission of the Church. The orientation is the challenges of the humanity and the mission of the Church than the Pope Francis, entrusted to us each month. Entrusted to his network of prayer. Do you know about the Pope's intentions?
Yes.
Yes.
Pope's intentions are challenges of the humanity and the mission of the Church.
Yes.
There are keys for our personal life, but also keys for the mission or an orientation. Then it helps these youth to be aware and in this orientation, for example, this month about the interreligious dialogue, very important for the peace.
Yes, that's right.
And that's why for that we have an application for prayer. We have POPs videos now also for helping to be more involved in these challenges.
So, Father, if there are young people watching us right now, and their
Excited.
curiosity is getting piqued by our discussion, is there something? Do they need to sign up? Do they register?
Become a member?
How do they
Yes.
say, okay, I'm gonna commit to praying for the intentions of the Pope every month?
Yes, it's the Eucharistic Youth Movement. Because it's a movement,
It is.
then it's a way for where you can contact the national director, the team, local teams, by website, by Facebook, Twitter. You can put EYM, Eucharistic Youth Movement, in, and you look.
So everything is in the internet. If they would
Yes.
like to check or would
Yes.
like to know more about EYM.
Yes, because more easily for finding after that
Yes.
the teams in the parishes, in the places, in all countries.
But how will they come together if they're in one place? So somebody must lead them, or somebody has to be a parish priest would lead them, or amongst
It would,
themselves.
yes. Sometimes a parish priest, sometimes it's a sister, or sometimes there are a lot of lay leaders, Jesuits or Marists or other congregations
All right,
be part
yes.
of this organization.
Father, how is this related to the celebration of the World Youth Day?
For each event like this, there's a group of EYM insert in the Magis program. Magis program is a program of the Jesuit and also the Ignatian spirituality for youth people, and then Eucharistic Youth Movement because it has a lot of elements of the Ignatian spirituality.
Okay.
It's inside this program for helping youth to know better this movement.
Would you have any idea as to how many young people here in the Philippines are already involved in the EYM?
No,
We'll have to get that from Father Manny,
I
Flores.
don't know. I thought the Sunday night they were, I don't know, maybe 100 for a feast, for a
All right.
nice moment of prayer and testimony.
But
Testimony
Yes.
about their faith.
Yes.
this movement celebrated its centenary. It's a centennial, 100 years anniversary.
Yes.
When was this, Father?
It was in 1915 uh, with the First War in France, the First World War, because the Pope asked the children to pray for the peace
All right.
and also to receive the communion, the Eucharistic communion each day. Then the Apostleship of Prayer start these groups
All right.
with the name of Eucharistic Crusade.
It's a
All
crusade.
right.
And time ago after, in 1962, it take the name of Eucharistic Youth Movement.
Youth movement. So
Yes.
that's the development.
Yes, yes.
Now it's
Perhaps
EYM.
before you go, Father, you would like to invite most of our young people watching us
All
on
over
television
the
right now,
world.
all over the world, to join EYM. Go ahead, please.
Then if you are youth between 5
5.
until 25 years old, if you want to have the mission of the church, to be apostle and to be for that transformed by the Eucharist, then you can join Eucharistic Youth Movement. You can go in Facebook, Twitter, in internet, and you put Eucharistic Youth Movement. You will find a network of friends in all the world.
Thank you very much, Father. And we hope to see more of you in the coming years with our EYM
Yes,
group
and
here
I hope
in the
this
Philippines.
isn't going to be the first time that you will be visiting the Philippines.
Yes.
I hope you will be back. Maraming salamat po. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
daghang salamat. Daghang salamat. Friends, we have more in store for you. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Ito, mahirap na magpaaral ng mga bata dahil mataas ang matrikula.
Ang hirap ng buhay. Ang mahal-mahal ng bilihin, dito mataas ang sahod.
Ang hirap-hirap nga ng buhay, dagdag pirisyo itong traffic na to.
Ito, sa awa ng Diyos, sa karaos pa rin. Kahit paano.
Brothers and sisters, the Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Please be seated for the homily.
Ani, kamusta pag-aaral mo?
Okay lang po.
Inayos mo ba?
Opo.
Iwasan mo muna yung barkada. Pag-aaral mo nang unahin. Ikaw, Jay, kamusta pag-aaral mo?
Okay lang po.
Inayos mo ba?
Opo.
Gusto ko makatapos kayo ng pag-aaral. Kahit mahirap.
Ang katawan ni Kristo.
Amen.
Salamat po. Uy, may biscuit po. Yay!
welcome back to our program, 51st International Eucharistic Congress from Cebu, Philippines. And we have another guest with us this afternoon.
Right. This afternoon we're happy and we're blessed by her presence from Thailand, and she's going to share with us her life's journey towards the Eucharist. We have with us Miss Mary Sarindorn Matibad Charanon. Did I? Sawadika. Sawadika.
Sawadika.
I hope I said your name right, correctly.
That is correct. That is correct.
Yes.
Right.
Where about in Thailand are you, Mom?
I'm from Bangkok, Thailand.
Bangkok, Thailand.
May I say this before I start anything? English is not my mother tongue, and I'm a convert. So if I say anything incorrectly, please excuse me.
I remember my friend, also from Bangkok, Siriwan, former president of Signis. Anyhow, going back to your story,
Yes.
we're trying to listen in a press conference
Yes.
earlier. You were sharing a very moving story of your life's journey. Yeah. You're a banker before. You were in
Yes.
the bank business.
How far should I go back? Let's say I was born in a family. I'm the youngest of a family whose parents were devout Buddhists. But fortunately, they sent their 3 daughters to Catholic girls' school, taught by the Usline nuns in Bangkok. And after I graduated in high school in Bangkok, I went to further my studies in the United States of America, and came back with an honors degree in business administration in 1969 at the age of 20. And at the age of 25, I became a co-founder and a managing director of one of the largest finance and securities companies in Thailand at that time.
All right.
And at the age of 30, I became the largest shareholder of the company. So really at a very young age, I was at the top of the world. But then less than a year after I took over the company, the stock exchange of Thailand crashed for the first time. And I was forced by the circumstances to sell the company back to the bank of my former chairman. I was exhausted, so I decided to resign. But before I took leave, something unimaginable happened. I was held against my will in a meeting room from 4 p.m. till 11 p.m., forced to sign some papers. When I saw it was unethical, I refused. Then finally, when the bank director had to let me go, he said, "One day you'll be sorry." Little did I know what I did or did not do that day would cost me 2 decades of my life.
That's a
2 decades.
long time
Yes.
too.
Yes, yes.
You were imprisoned, or?
No. Shortly after I left the company, a former employee of mine, a lawyer, came to me and he said, "I'm sorry, your life is in danger." I said, "What danger? I already left the company." And he said, "I cannot tell you, but I believe you were a good person." So he left. And through my connection, I found that the company, the bank director who was then the new chairman, went to the police and filed a false charges against me, accusing me of embezzling a staggering amount of 196 million baht.
Oh my.
Or
How much is that in dollars?
approximately 7.8 million US dollars
Oh.
at that time. And a former employee of mine whose wedding was officiated by me was willing to give false testimonies
Oh my.
to the police in exchange for a promotion.
Oh.
Even though all accused were presumed innocent until proven guilty by the court, I could not find enough money to produce bail because it was 196 million
Million.
baht.
And
Right.
the bail would be how much?
Right. So I
Very
don't know.
expensive.
I didn't have money. I had no choice. So I had to flee. And I had to leave my 4 young children and husband behind.
So
You left the country?
I had to leave the country. And from that point on, I compared my life to that of the doctor played by Harrison Ford in the movie The Fugitive.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You were constantly checking your back if there
And
was somebody
moving
back
from
there.
one place
To another,
another.
exactly. And at night, sometimes I would be too scared to sleep. And some days I ate just one meal.
Okay.
And you
This-
remember your family back in Bangkok.
Yes, of course, I had no choice.
So this took how long? All this running
2
away?
decades.
20 years? Well,
Well, let me tell you the turning point in my life.
okay.
On December 25th, 1989, the previous
That's near
night.
Christmas, huh? It's
Yes,
Christmas
yes.
time.
Almost
The
Christmas.
previous night it was Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And I didn't sleep the whole night. I went to sleep late in the morning on December 25th and woke up around 7 p.m. And when I woke, I was so hungry. And it was pitch dark outside and cold, very cold, and it was raining. When I came back to my room empty-handed because all shops and restaurants were closed, I was hungry and angry. And I became hysterical.
Hungry and angry.
Yes.
Wow.
And I started cursing the
And
man.
this is Christmas Day.
Yes.
Christmas
and
Eve.
I was alone in a tiny room. So I was cursing the man who put me through that suffering.
Yes.
And the lawyer and the false witness, who were both my previous employees.
How could they do such a thing, right?
And I think I must have temporarily gone insane at that time. And I saw the dust on the floor more worthy than my life. I ran around my tiny room looking for something, a knife, a rope, anything that could end my miserable being at that time. When I couldn't find anything, I knelt down in the middle of the floor and I prayed to God. I wasn't baptized yet. I was still a Buddhist.
But what God is this? You're praying to God. You would
Christian
say.
God, our God. But
Alright.
because I was taught in school by
Oh,
the
that's
Muslim
right.
nuns.
So you had the training,
I had
you
the
had the
seed. I had the seed in my
okay.
heart.
Yes.
And throughout my ordeal, all the time that I was running and this, I always prayed to God, to Mary, please help me. I never prayed to Buddha. I always prayed, God, please help me. And I was kneeling on the floor for how long I don't remember, but I was jolted awake when a thought flashed through my mind as if someone had spoken to me, but without my awareness. Don't give up, my child. One day the truth will prevail. God has submission for you. I jumped up from the floor and did someone just speak to me or was I hallucinating? Because no one was in the room except me. Then it dawned on me that though I was suffering beyond words, I was still free, wasn't I? I wasn't captured and put in prison. So I thought to myself, it must be God who was taking care of me and who had just spoken to me. So I prostrated to the floor and I prayed again. Dear God, if it's you who had just spoken to me, I would be willing to be and do whatever you want me to.
So you submitted yourself
Yes,
to
yes.
God.
And at that moment, a righteous thought came into my mind that if I was to continue living, I must first forgive.
Okay.
But how?
How hard.
How? Only moments ago, I was cursing them to death. How
Yes.
could I forgive them? I couldn't. And for the whole night, I couldn't. So finally, I prayed again, said, Dear God, I want to forgive my enemies, but I cannot do it on my own. Please help me be able to forgive my enemies. And I prostrated on the floor again. As soon as I did that, what happened next was something I would never forget the rest of my life, even until now. The feeling of hatred, like fire burning in my heart, was blown away. And instead, I felt a feeling of fresh coolness, like the first fall of snow, sweeping through my heart. Immediately, I knew a miracle had happened. It's still have goosebumps when I talk
Oh,
about
yes, those
it.
mine.
I knew immediately God had touched my soul with His love. I was able to forgive all three of them. And later that night, I even prayed for God's blessings for all three of my enemies and their families.
And you've forgiven them.
Yes,
At that
because
moment.
of God's grace.
Father, what do you call that kind of experience? That suddenly, for the longest years of her life, she was really mad and angry. And there are many people who are also suffering that way, right? They're angry with somebody and they would like to kill that somebody.
Yes. There's one thing sure, that is the grace of God.
Yes.
The grace of
Grace
That
of
is the
God,
grace
yeah.
of God.
And He has given it to her. It's really a gift, no? That you're not able to forgive at one instance, and then it's somehow like a miracle that comes. That this really a deep religious experience.
I want to know, because you said that you went to Catholic school.
Yes.
That was your formation as
Yes,
a
for
young...
12 years.
For
By the
12
Ursuline
years.
sisters, you were
Right.
saying.
Ursuline sisters, yes.
You were, when the ordeal started and you've been running away, you were praying but not...
To Buddha.
What was the to Buddha? No, not even. You're praying to God, but it was only that one night when you poured everything out to Him that finally the miracle took place, because you had decided to forgive.
I was praying to God. At that moment, I thought it was my previous life sin. I still believe in the Buddhist way.
Of reincarnation.
That because
Is it-
of my last life sin, because I didn't do anything wrong this life.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, God, is it my last life sin?
All right.
Please come and take me to be with you. That was total surrender of my life, my soul.
Did you have yourself baptized after that and become Catholic?
It's a long story before
Again.
then.
Yes.
Perhaps we have to listen to you
We'll
tomorrow.
have to listen
That
to your
will be
story
the next part of
tomorrow.
your
Yes,
story, but
okay.
Yes, and the
very
good news
touching
is
and very moving.
we will be airing that tomorrow, so please make sure that you're able to watch that.
Looks like a teleserie or a telenovela to me.
I know. I can't wait for the
Okay.
the
Yes.
continuation of our story.
Yes,
And then
and
it will also be aired through EWTN, an interview with her.
Okay.
And how she would be facing her,
Right.
Yes.
these people you're mad at.
You know, I lost the period of 20
Yes.
years.
All right,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
We
So
will,
thank you very much for joining us
Thank you.
today. We will
Yes.
be leaving you for a while because we're going to shift to the Mass. We're going
Oh
to be
yes, there's
covering
a
the Mass.
four-class Mass.
Yes, at Cebu.
Cebu Plaza.
Okay.
So
So
you better
again-
be staying with us. We'll be coming back again tomorrow. And this has been your friend, Bernard Factor Caniaberal.
Angelique Lazo Mayuga.
And
This is Father Joel Kamaya.
we leave you with this word from the Philippines. Mabuhay!